Good morning. Today's question is enlightenment real or spiritual escapism? It depends. It depends for whom exactly. Because the moment we seek enlightenment, this is, I would say in itself, can be spiritual escapism. The moment we become enlightened is the moment we stop caring about enlightenment at all. It just comes on a random day, at a random moment, after we have completely stopped caring about any of those things, and it just happens. And you smile very inwardly, very warmly, and you say, this was it. It doesn't happen in an explosion. It doesn't happen on a single day at a special event with the alignment of the stars when everyone is invited and everyone is there to witness. It just happens on a random Tuesday evening, walking randomly. Sometimes not even doing a meditation or anything special. It just dawns on us. And it dawns so gradually and so slowly that it can pass as an unexamined event. Because really most of life is just like this. Nothing in life happens in a spark, in an explosion. Nothing in life happens like this. Even accidents that seemingly arrive out of the blue have actually been building up to this moment. And only the moment when we realize it is the moment when the explosion happens. But had we been conscious during the whole evolution, we would have felt gradually the circumstances building up to the accident happening. So is enlightenment real or is it spiritual escapism? Well, first of all, the person who seeks enlightenment has no idea what enlightenment is, right? When we seek enlightenment, we don't know what enlightenment is. We just seek an experience out of words. We have heard about it and it sounds appealing, so we pursue it. In actual reality, we have no idea what it is. We have never lived it. Had we lived it, why would we seek it, right? So the moment we start seeking liberation or enlightenment is the moment we start seeking something different from where we are. And in this pursuit, since we don't know where we're going or what we want, we might go on all sorts of detours and confuse things as enlightenment that they are not. And we are going to do all of those things, and it's part of the journey before we know the real thing. And we're going to meet all sorts of gimmicks and mockeries and synthetic versions of what it is, and all sorts of appealing shortcuts, which of course there are none. But we're gonna try all the time to fall for all of those shortcuts and all of those mockeries and all of those things until every time we realize, no, this is not the real thing. This cannot be the real thing. Eventually we get there. But we get there once we stop all of those flawed reasonings of shortcuts, of wanting something, of wanting a special state, of wanting it to be an explosion, of wanting to escape life, right? I personally sought those kind of experiences out of just pure escapism of life, life was too unbearable to handle, so I just wanted to seek something that would distract me of it, that would spare me the pain. An enlightened person still feels pain. They still go through all of the struggles. The only difference is now there is a sense of redemption. There is a sense of understanding. You see, for example, when we want to better our health in the future, we might go for a run, for example. There is a part of us that decided to go for a run before the run. This part said, let me try to invest in my future health. And so let me go for a run. The person who actually goes for the run is another person, is a person who's not happy about the run, is a person who's struggling, is a person who is in difficulty, is a person who has to live through the effort, right? This person might not really be happy with the choice. But there is a wisdom, there is an understanding. There is a part of me that chose this for my future self. And I love my future self. And so I will do this. I will honor this choice I made. And enlightenment becomes something like this. Pain doesn't disappear. The struggles don't disappear. If anything, we might put ourselves through struggles, through pain, but not the same kind of pain, because in a lot of ways, unnecessary pain, or pain that is unchosen, or pain that is not meaningful, is is a lot of suffering. But pain doesn't have to be suffering. And so I would say that seeking enlightenment might be spiritual escapism. Enlightenment in itself is a state that is beautiful. But if we knew the truth about it before seeking it with all of those distortions, we wouldn't have sought it. So it is often veiled in all of those fantasies, which put us on the road, right? But which really are not the goal. In the same way, for example, that we might work to get a salary. Most of us, a lot of time, I did for a very long time, I worked to get a salary. I did do a good job, more or less, right? But I was working to get a salary at the end of the day. Had I not needed the money, I would not be there. And this relationship with life carries on even later in our spiritual path in the beginning. Had we not thought that enlightenment would be a salary, we would have not pursued it. But once we know the reality of things and we change across the journey, we change along the journey, and we start realizing, it's the journey. It's the things I will do along the journey. There is no destination. Destination doesn't matter anymore. So there's a whole shift of being, there's a whole shift of perspective that makes it so that there is no destination anymore. And this is the enlightenment. It's just understanding that there's no destination. Eventually, there's no destination. If we are going to exist here for a very long time, for eternity maybe, we better learn how to exist through all of eternity. But if now, as it is, we cannot even exist for a few years or a lifetime without all of those sufferings, then it will be a very, very hard existence, right? In the same way, for example, that it's very difficult for us to get through a week sometimes. So we need the weekend, a work day, you know? But imagine you learn that at some moment you're going to have to work every day in your life for the next 200 years maybe. Well, you better enjoy what you're doing. And that is by analogy maybe what enlightenment is. It's just the realization that, I might gonna have to work for the next 200 years every day. No one wants to hear this. And if anyone had heard this, they would probably just jump out of the abandoned ship completely.